Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. As my grandson would say. Oh my goodness, the elf this morning, it was amazing. I mean, the elf comes every day, all the way up to Christmas. He leaves on Christmas Eve. And he's always doing something. Well, the other day we got up and the elf was sort of face down in Apache's stocking, because of course those of you who have animals, we have stockings for our puppies and kittens. Excuse me. And he was face down in there, and of course you're not allowed, you can't touch him because he's magic, because if you touch him, if kids touch him, the magic wears off. What can I tell you? So we just left him there, and then the next day, of course, he went somewhere else. But Apache kept putting his nose into the bottom of this particular stocking that is his. And when Reese came home from school, I said to him, why is Patchy keep sniffing the bottom of his stocking? He said, well, maybe he knows that it's his stocking. I said, well, are you sure that, is it possible? Could the elf have left something in there? He said, oh, I don't think so, Moses. I said, you could always have a look and see. Well, you'll never guess what happened. There were 7 little dog biscuits in the bottom of that stocking that the elf must have put in there. Well, Reese was so excited, and he giggled and he laughed. And this morning we got up and there's a Christmas shower curtain. And the elf is sort of hanging from the top there. He's obviously put it up in the night. You do know where I'm going with this, I hope, right? Magic. Magic, 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 magic. It's everything, isn't it? So Christmas for me, Christmas for my family is magic. Now, because don't think I've forgotten, before we go on, I just want to leave you with this thought, because once we're done with the introductions, excuse me, I'm going to ask you, can you let me know what in your life, and it could be anything, could be a chocolate cake, could be an ice cream sundae, it could be the love of a child, it could be anything at all. But I'd love to know, what is your most magical, the most magical thing you have or you experience, not just at Christmas time, but any time of the year. Right, let's go. Good morning, everybody. See, I've chatted. You thought I'd forgotten, excuse me, to do my introduction. So good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to say good morning to Gregor, who is, as always, standing by my side. I'd like to say good morning to Chris, who is the facilitator. You're all ready for Christmas, Chris?
I'm getting there, Rosemary. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
And so, obviously, it's Christmas. And next week, there will not be a show, because we have visitors and we have people coming from different parts of the world, and I shall be so busy. So this is the last show before the new year. So I thought, anything you want to say to me, anything at all, but I'd love to hear about your magical time. When I walked in I came from the airport, I had the most spectacular people at the airport helping me. Excuse me. I flew on Delta. I always try to fly on Delta if I can, because it's Reese's favorite airline. But I had a great experience. Everyone was wonderful. Everybody was fabulous. Everybody couldn't do enough. It's probably one of the best experiences of flying, and I've flown all over the world. It's not the best, but it's one of the best experiences of flying that I've had. One of my very, very topmost experiences was flying into Australia. That's the long 16-hour flight. How can a 16-hour flight be fabulous, be great? But it really, really was. And I had wonderful people taking care of me then. And another time I was on an airplane, and that was a great experience because, well, I was sitting next to a mother and her son, who he would be in his 30s or so. And I was sitting at the end of the row, and they said, they were very friendly. They said hello. I said hello. Well, it came to the point where, because it was a long flight, it came to the point where I really wanted to doze, but they really wanted to talk, but I wanted to doze. So I'm pushing my chair back a little bit, and I'm settling down to doze, and I'm thinking, okay, this is good. I'm going to have a little nap before we land, and I close my eyes, and a voice says, what kind of voice would it be? Was it the stewardess, the steward? Who was it? Was it my companions? Of course, you know it's not, don't you? You know I'm talking about a voice from the spirit world. So this was a young man standing behind me, and he said to me, I want you to talk to my brother. And I knew immediately that the young man with his mother was this young man's brother. So I said very nicely, go away. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Maybe later, maybe not. I don't know. But right now, go away. So he poked me in the shoulder, and he said, no, but Rosemary, I really need to let him know. I think he was his twin. I can't quite remember, but I think he was his twin. He said, I really need to let him know that I'm here. And I said, and I really need to take a nap. So clear off. And he kept poking me. And I got, first of all, I got annoyed, but I could see his point. I mean, here I am, and what better opportunity to let your loved ones know, if you're in the spirit world, to let your loved ones know I'm here. So I eventually said, this is what we're going to do. You leave me alone and let me take my nap. And once I've had my nap and I've woken up, I promise you I will give a message to your brother from you. But right now, leave me alone. Well, of course, 2 or 3 hours later, I'd finished with my nap, and there he was, poking me in the shoulder. Hey, you can do it now. You can do it now. You can do it now. I mean, how magical is that? And yes, of course, I gave that young man and his mother an amazing message. The young man sitting next to me on the plane was wearing his brother's ring. And so we talked quite a lot about that. I just looked, I said, oh, I see you're wearing your brother's ring. And he looked at me as if I was, who are you? And how do you know? And what's going on? And it went from there. So, right. Chris, do we have anybody out there, or am I actually talking to myself? Because, I could just be nattering on here and totally talking to myself. Am I talking to myself here?
No, you are not. We have a lot of people waiting in the chat room, Rosemary.
Well, let's get going then, shall we?
What do you want to start with? The magic responses or questions?
Sure. Magic responses. Let's have those, a little bit of those.
All right. Maggie's on. She's saying my girls and grandson are the most magical to me.
Well, I like that answer, and I hope you're feeling better, Maggie. Let me know how you're doing. I hope you got my message. So I hope you're doing well. Go for it, Chris. Keep going.
Cheryl says, my most magical experience? I think just doing random acts of kindness is the most magical feeling.
I know when you see somebody's response, or the joy on the face, or the surprise, or whatever, that's magical. It doesn't get much better than that. Excuse me.
Janet says, my magical moment was in Algeria when I was 15 and saw the sunset. It's still in my mind nearly every day. I have a fantastic Christmas.
Thank you, and to you too. And before I forget, thank you, everyone who's sending me best wishes for Christmas, and the same to all of you, of course. Talking about the sunset. Did you say sunset or sunrise? It doesn't really matter. Sunset, I think, in Algeria. Some of my most spectacular sunsets are when I was in Egypt, and oh my goodness, I mean, bright vermilion red skies and spectacular sunsets and sunrises. I don't know if it's because it's in Africa, it's that part of the world or whatever it is, that wherever that is. Excuse me, but some of those sunsets, I mean, you'd be walking down the street, you'd be shopping, and behind you the sky would be these amazing colors. You couldn't fail to miss them. Keep going, Chris.
Microphone Mike is on, and
Hello,
he's saying, I do like his new name. I love how persistent he is. That's how I would be, talking about the brother in the plane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Excuse me. I love how persistent he is. I love how persistent those in the spirit world can be. Just sometimes it's not quite convenient for me. I've learned over the years to say no. At one time, I would be just there all the time, and then you wear yourself out and you leave nothing left for anybody else. So there are times when you have to say no, or, you know, can you wait for a bit? Or fairly recently, I've had some very, very chatty, talkative people coming through from the spirit world for my clients. And on a couple of occasions, I think it was last week or the week before, I had to say, you got to stop to those in the spirit world, you got to stop talking, because I need to relay what you're saying. And if you don't let me relay what you're saying, I'm going to forget what you said 5 minutes ago. You got to stop and let me relay. But I love that too. I love the fact that they're so eager, they're so keen to talk to us, and they have lots to say.
Maggie says, my grandson's elf was found this morning taped to the wall, holding a stolen juice box with Spider-Man over him as he caught the elf stealing.
No, that can't be right. Elves are not naughty. A little mischievous. I love that. I think that's really funny. My goodness me, I bet the kids had fun with that one. I'm sorry. I got to apologize for keeping coughing, but keep going, Chris.
Mark says, what a lovely setting to have our live chat. Gorgeous decorations.
Do you love the
all my bags. Okay. All my bags of unknown presents are by my tree for Christmas morning.
Ooh, lovely. Lovely. Yeah, we have presents under the tree too, so.
Shamanth says, today, the 21st of December, marks the 3rd death anniversary of my brother-in-law Nagesh, who passed away to cardiac arrest. We miss him immensely. How is he doing on the other side? Are there any messages from him for us or from the spirit world?
Well, Grey Eagle is answering this one for you, so I can tell you that Grey Eagle says he is fine. Don't forget to hang the star. So there you have it. Chris, keep going.
The initial F like Frank, says, how can I cope alone and lift this depression? My mother passed recently. I was her carer.
Oh, that is so hard, because you know, when you are a carer of someone who is very close to you, you have something to do. You're doing something which helps you to cope with and to deal with the situation. Although it's very hard to do it, and it's exhausting physically and emotionally. But once that, it's not even a burden. I was going to say once that burden, but it's not a burden. It's something that we do because we love our family, and we want to care for them. But once that is lifted from our shoulders, I mean, we are hopeless and helpless, and we feel so alone, and it's very, very tough. Slowly and surely, I think she'll help you to deal with things. Slowly and surely, you'll come out of that depression. My suggestion to you would be to start and look for things that you can do, groups that you can be involved in, or or bereavement groups, something like that, so that you have people who have gone through the same things you have gone through to help you through it and to help you talk through it. And if you'd like to send in, we can't call you F. You've got to come up with something better than that. But F, if you'd like to send us an email, we'll certainly send you healing. We'll put you on our healing list gladly. Okay, Chris.
Cheryl's asking, do we become aware of all knowledge when we pass over? And if so, how do we keep learning?
No, we don't. We access it, or it is given to us, or we are allowed to access it a little by little by little. Because, if you think about, excuse me, if you think about a kid at school, if in kindergarten, if you pile everything on them, they're not, first of all, not even going to understand any of it. Second of all, they'll be so overwhelmed they won't learn a thing. So it's little by little, stage by stage, step by step. And when we are ready, you've heard that phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher will come, and I've found that to be true in every single case,
All right, this is from Betta. Dear lovely Rosemary, it's been 2 months since my husband lost his job. Will he be able to find a new one for the new year? Merry Christmas to all your family.
Thank you, darling, and Merry Christmas to all of yours too. And yes, but I think you asked this question last week or the week before, and I think Gregor's answer is going to be the same. You have to be patient. Just be patient and wait. He will find a job. Excuse me, not perhaps as quickly as you had hoped, but it will come. So just be patient.
Maggie says, I always found it magical when riding my horse early in the morning in the fog, when all is quiet and it is silent.
Well, I like that, and thank you for that. I'm going to tell you one more magical story of mine, and then I think we can open for questions or whatever else is on the agenda there, Chris. So I know that most of you will know, and those of you who don't, here you go, because I'm going to tell you. So in February of this year, which seems like so long ago, right? It's all of, 10 months ago. My grandson came, got a first in this particular very prestigious competition, and he played at Carnegie Hall. He was invited to play because he played so well, and he got a first, and etc. and etc. Well, guess what, folks? Do you know what I'm going to say? Here we are. Now, this is magical. It's magical for my grandson. So here we are, and he's playing next year. Wow. He's playing next year, which is all of 2 weeks away, right? 3 weeks ago. He's playing next year also at Carnegie Hall because he got another first, and he's been invited to play it at Carnegie. So save the date. It's March. I think it's March the 3rd. We'll be talking about it more as we go along. It'll be absolutely perfect, and I'm sure he'll be great. he's very, very excited about it, very excited about it. And, and I was talking to Chris before we came on the show, about how many opportunities kids have these days. Now, I know that not all kids have these opportunities, but when I think back to when I was a kid, you know, my parents never considered piano lessons. If it weren't for my brother paid for me to have piano lessons because he had a girlfriend who who played the piano. So, but we didn't have the opportunities that the kids have today. And some of us, it's like in life with all of us, some of us make those opportunities, or we take advantage of them. We take them and we run with them. And some of us are perhaps a bit too nervous, or a bit too scared, or a bit too whatever it is, we're a bit too nervous of. And so we feel that we can't do it. I had an opportunity years ago to go to train as a teacher, and I just couldn't do it because I didn't believe in myself, and I had no one in my family to support me in the endeavor. So I was asked to go to college, and the idea of college was, oh my gosh, I can't do that. You're all amazed, aren't you, that I did? Do you know what? I'm going to let you into a secret. I did not go to college, and I did not go to university because I was too scared, and I was too afraid that I would fail, or that I wouldn't fit in. My family didn't have any money. We had this idea when I was a kid that only rich kids went to university or college or whatever, which probably wasn't true at all, but that's the idea that we had. I can remember talking of Reese's piano, and I can remember, and Chris said to me, just imagine, had you had the opportunities that Reese is having, maybe, you could have done more with the piano. But I loved my piano, and I played my piano every day. And when I got to my 30s, early 30s or something, I decided to take piano lessons again with another teacher and I can remember he was great, he was nice, and but he was teaching me things that I already knew. So as a challenge, I decided this particular day to buy the sheet music for Scott Joplin's The Entertainer. And it was very, very famous, popular song. Jazz has never been popular, but this one particular, I'd sing it to you, except I don't think my voice will hold up this morning. But when I took it to the teacher, he looked at me and he said, oh, no. You don't have big enough hands. You have long fingers, but you don't have the span. You need a huge span to tackle these, to tackle the chords. And because it was actually the version that Scott Joplin himself wrote, you can get easier versions nowadays, I'm sure. And he said, no. He said, you're never going to be able to play this. And okay then. So he wouldn't help me with it. So I went home and I worked on this piece. And 2 weeks later, I went back to my music teacher and I said, can I play something? Do you mind if I play something for you? And he raised his eyebrows at me, and especially when he saw that I pulled out The Entertainer. And I said, I know that I don't have it exactly right, so I'd like you to help me to sort of finesse it, if you could. And then I proceeded to play the whole thing for him. And he sort of looked at me instead. He said, well, I know never to tell you can't do anything again. And he laughed. And so sometimes you can't listen to people who you think know. I was having this conversation with my grandson yesterday, the so-called experts. Of course, we want to listen to them. Of course, we would be, it would be ridiculous if you went to an expert and didn't listen. But just because that person is an expert does not necessarily mean that he knows everything. So, don't be dissuaded. If you want to do something, don't be dissuaded. Don't allow other people to tell you that you can't do it. Because if you really want to, you'll find a way. Scott Joplin, The Entertainer. Yes, I'm not sure I can play it anymore. See, this is gone. Anyway, other than that, Chris.
All right, this one's from Lisa. When my cousin died, I drove down the road and Mama Dear was nursing her ill one right on the side by the road.
Oh, nice.
Odd. Then, following the funeral, my uncle and I went to our favorite sunset spot.
She doesn't mean the deer's funeral, does she?
No, her cousin's funeral.
Yeah.
So following the funeral, my uncle and I went to our favorite sunset spot a couple miles down the road. Dear families were together in various groups in the bottoms.
Oh, wow.
I took pictures, my uncle took pictures, and we got none. The lighting was amazing. The feeling was surreal. I said the only thing we didn't see was a rainbow. Then everyone sent pictures of rainbows that night. The ultimate was a full circle rainbow from an airplane above the Peoria, Illinois airport. Full circle for Cousin Patrick. From Peoria County to Brown County and back to Peoria, where it all began 64 years earlier. That's her magical moment.
I love that story. I really love that story. Excuse me. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I feel that Patrick, even as you were writing this to us, I think that Patrick was standing right by your side. How nice. Okay, keep going, Chris.
Mark says a magical moment I had was when I saw my friend Pamela in a dream. She was telling me she passed away and she was wearing a bright yellow skirt, a white blouse, a yellow jacket, yellow hat, and white shoes. She was modeling them for me as she smiled. I said, "Oh, Pam, look at you." Then realized she had passed. I said, "I'm so happy for you."
Well, I think she was trying to let him know that where she was lots of sunshine and lots of happiness. Very nice. Thank you.
This is a question from V.
Hi, V.
25 to 50 years after a person passes, are they still watching us or have they moved on? And if so, where?
Well, first of all, you have to understand. I mean, the simple answer is yes. But first of all, you have to realize that not only do we have this universe that we know about, we also know, and scientists are accepting and understanding that there are other universes out there. Some we can, just sort of catch glimpses of, and others, I mean, the universe goes beyond and beyond and beyond. So I believe that there are many universes out there. So I was thinking about my daddy the other day. It's Christmas, and then we had November 11th and the Veterans Day, as you call it. We call it Remembrance Day in England. And I was thinking about him, and it's been 40 something years since he passed. I still see him from time to time, not every day, but fairly often. I knowing my father and having experienced, my father was an army man all his life, and all he did was like to travel. He went traveling all over the place, and I totally believe that that's what he's doing right now, is traveling and exploring the universe. But I also know that if I need him, he's right there. And I also know that when it's my time to go, I'll bet he'll be right at the forefront. I bet he'll be right there, waiting to help me over. So it's yes and yes and yes. I hope it didn't confuse you with that answer. But when you say moving on, there are so many things to do in this universe of ours, so many places to explore, so much to see, so much to learn from, so many people that we meet along the journey. Some people we choose to journey with, continue to journey with, and other people we meet for a short while and then we move on, and that is how it goes. This time is infinite finite. Wait a minute, what do I mean? Yeah, anyway, endless, goes on and on. And I knew I'd find a word that I could work with there. So don't think that, if someone's been gone for 25 years, the chances of seeing them again are nil, because that's not the case at all. Because also, if you can understand, time in the spirit world is very, very different than time as we know it on this earth. Time in the spirit world is faster, speedier. It's it's sort of, it's moving and moving. Whereas here, we sort of time, even though we say, where did the time go today? We've been so busy. Time is much slower here on this earth plane. So 25 years, well, let me put it this way: a lifetime. If you were born and you die 86 or 90 or whatever, as far as time is concerned, as far as universal time is concerned, it's merely a blink of an eye. See, every time we ask, someone asks a question, we answer the question, it just raises more questions, doesn't it? Okay, keep going.
All right. This is from Janet. She says, I'd like to send a big hug to Gray Eagle because he's rocking it.
He ever? He really is laughing as you're saying that, rocking around the Christmas tree, maybe. And thank you so much for that. I know that he appreciates it, and I appreciate it on his behalf. Okay.
She also added, I bet Samantha's the proudest mom.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yesterday is tiring, when you all know this, even those of you whose kids are now grown. It's tiring, it's exhausting, and he comes home from school, he's only 10. And I never had homework when I was 10 years old. He comes home from school and he's laden down with homework, and it's exhausting for Samantha, and exhausting when you hear Reese say, I think we have too much homework, and I say, too bad, it doesn't matter what you think, this is what you have to do, so you just have to suck it up, get on with it. And Samantha said to me, when we put Reese to bed, Samantha said, she sat there, she's, whew, yeah, it's exhausted. And I said, well, as exhausted as you are, and I know how hard it is for you, do not wish it away. I looked at her and I said, you were a little girl once, and you sat in my lap, and we had fun, and we played games, and you were exhausting. But I'm never going to get it back. I'm never going to get my little girl back. I've got a grown woman, wise and wonderful, and she is the most amazing mother. But for all of you out there who have children and grandchildren, I know they can be frustrating. I know it can be hard to deal with them, but you got to love them as well. So even when you're shouting at them, remember to say, I love you, but get on with it. Right? It's a bit of tough love in there you've got to do sometimes. But don't ever, let these moments go by. If you're exhausted, take a minute, but always watch your children and watch how they're learning and watch how they're growing, because they truly are our joyous gifts. Chris.
Mark says, my friend Dana of 27 years just passed away this morning at 9:30 a.m. She passed at age 59 from early onset dementia. I pray she's smiling and finally at peace and with her mom and dad.
I think, honestly, your prayers are definitely answered. That's my feeling. Oh, wait. Hand on shoulder. That's definitely the case. She's safe and with her family.
This is from Lorraine. Magic moment. Years ago, our first trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh,
We get out of the car, and I had this awesome feeling come over me. The breeze, The smell was so overpowering. I felt as if change was taking place in me spiritually.
Well, for those of you who have never been to Santa Fe, you need to book your tickets now if you can. Or you can go anywhere in the world now. Just go on YouTube and take yourself on a trip. Santa Fe is one of those very, very magical and very hugely spiritual places. A lot of grief and a lot of heartache. The Native Americans had a very tough time there. But it's a most spiritual. I agree with what you're saying. You step off the plane or you get out of the car, the air is different. There is something different and very magical about that place.
All right, this is from William. Holiday blessings, Rosemary and all. I
Thank you.
have been challenged by medical issues. I'm
Oh,
looking for directions. Thank you for all you do. Love, hugs, and grace.
thank you. Love and hugs back to you. We're often challenged by medical stuff. I can't give you any help or advice in this program because there's not time. You need to, I would suggest, find a good healer or, maybe through a consultation with a good medium, they might be able to help you or to guide you. But my advice to you is, as hard as it is when you are being challenged by all that life throws at you here, and especially medically, because your physical being is what you need to stay strong. But try if you can to stay strong. If you would like to send us an email with your name, you don't have to tell us anything about you, just your name is good. If you want to write out the situation as it is, what's going on with you, we will definitely put you in our healing book and we will definitely be sending you healing every single day. So blessings to you and stay strong.
I have one more comment from Mark in the chat room, but then we have no comments or questions, Rosemary.
Oh,
Do you want to
good. Well,
tell them what happens?
Yeah, what happens is if you don't comment or question, we quit. So what time is it, Chris? Are we having an early day today?
Let's hope not, but if we don't see something happening in that chat room, I guess
Yeah,
so.
get your little fingers tapping away, everyone. Come on. I'm trying to think. Shall I tell you a story? I can't think of a story to tell. So no. You entertain me. Come on. I want to hear your stories. So okay, all right. So get tapping away, otherwise we're done. Right, Chris. What's the?
So Mark's comment has to do with Apache. I'm loving watching your grandpup in the background just being as sweet as can be, like he sees something, lifts his head up, watches, then lays down and repeats.
That's right. He is so fabulous. He just is. He's the most loving little puppy, and he'll get to a certain time, and he'll look at Reese. Now, at this point, Reese might have just gone and had a shower, or he's hanging out in his PJs or something, and at some point, Apache will look at him and then go into the bedroom and then come back out and look at him again and then go into the bedroom and what he's saying to Reese is, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for bed. And as soon as Reese is up and ready for bed, Apache is on him like a shot, curled up by his side. Yes, we allow our puppies to sleep on the bed. Yes, we do. Not if they've been out in the fields, obviously, but he curls up with Reese and they snuggle together and they stay like that all night long until Reese wakes up in the morning. And it's just a joy to see. He's such a loving little thing. When I came, it's funny because I'm the one who found the puppy. I'm the one who went and fetched the puppy. When I bought him for Reese for his birthday. And so I had him for about 2 or 3 weeks before Reese came on the scene. And in those 2 or 3 weeks, I think Apache was only about 6 weeks old or something at the time. But in those 2 or 3 weeks that I had him, you know, a bond is created. If that's who you are and you love your animals from the very beginning, from the very outset, there's a bond that takes place. And of course, then Reese came, and then I had to step back and let Reese bond with Apache. And if you can't find Apache, look for Reese. And if you can't find Reese, look for Apache, because they are so bonded together. However, when they came back to New York, they took Apache with them. And it was quite a few months later that I came to New York to visit. And that little puppy went crazy. I was so surprised that he remembered me. He went crazy when he saw me. And every time I come, he cries, he whimpers. It's her. She's here. And then I pick him up and he snuggles into my neck and he whimpers and, oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. And he's doing that all the time. It makes me feel really great because he makes me feel so loved. But it always amazes me that he remembers me because we have these great long, months apart where he doesn't even see me. So it's just when we think of our puppies, when we think of them, their memories are probably often way longer than ours. And whenever he sees me, he just welcomes me and he cries and he's excited. And is it really you? Oh, really? Is it really, really you? And so I had that to look forward to when I came here this time. Okay, Chris. Anybody got anything
Yeah,
else?
we've got a few in there. Thank goodness.
Did I worry you all? Yeah, because I really will. If I mean, I don't mind entertaining you, but I'd like the same back. I mean, come on, really. Okay.
All right, this one's from Gina.
Hi, Gina.
I want to see my beautiful daughter that had passed. We both had a promise that we would try anything to get in touch, and I'm trying so hard.
Well, okay. Very often when I have consultations, and I had one recently with a family who lost their son, very tragically and very unexpectedly. And at the end of the consultation, the family were overwhelmed and they were thanking me and, you're amazing and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. And then the son, and I've heard this so many times before from people in the spirit world, their son said to their dad, who had actually booked the appointment, sorted it all out, got the family together. He said to his dad, "Thank you, Dad, for giving me the opportunity." So there are ways to connect. It's very hard because we know there are charlatans out there. We know there are people out there who I recently had a lady. She was, I don't know if I told this story last week, but it's still in my head, who had a consultation. She had multiple sclerosis and she was blind, and she was with her mother. Her mother was helping to set everything up, and the mother was old and wearing a cannula with one of those nose things. So they were obviously both sick. And at the end of my consultation with her, we were chatting, and she was telling me that I was the third person that she'd seen, although she tried more than 2 others. One of them extremely famous. I will not mention the name, but boy, I do hope that they are listening. $2,500 later, because they'd encouraged her, you got to just keep trying. When I do a consultation with someone, I'll say to them, if it does not work to my satisfaction, and remember my expectations far higher than anyone else's. So when I say if it does not work to my satisfaction, I'm not going to give you dribble or drivel or whatever. If it doesn't work, I will immediately refund your money. I tell everyone, I will immediately refund your money, or we can try again and again, possibly even again, and I won't charge you anymore, because I feel that when I give people consultations, they're not paying for my time, they're paying for what I can give them. It's like if I take 10 hours in a store and I finally find one sweater, the store's not going to be charging me the 10 hours for finding the sweater. They're just going to charge me for the sweater. And I feel that if, people come to me and they want a consultation, they want to get in touch with someone, and it isn't always the person that you think is going to come through, but the consultations have to be, as far as I'm concerned, of an extremely high standard. It's very rare that it isn't the case. You probably count on, in all the years I've been doing this, I don't know how many, I still have fingers left over on both hands for the amount of times over all the years that I've refunded somebody's money. And sometimes it's because that person's cancelled because for whatever reason they either can't afford, or they don't have the time, or they've changed their mind, or what have you. But in this particular case, this medium, and I'm using the term loosely because no decent human being, never mind medium, no decent human being is going to say, oh, it didn't work, or I can only give you this much, but if you want something else, you have to pay, which she did because this person has a good reputation. And so $2,500 into it. And at some point she said, I'm not paying any more because you've not given me any information. You've not done what you said you were going to do. And they'd started charging her interest because she hadn't paid. Now, I personally would be so ashamed. And if that person is listening, or if anybody who knows that person or has had that same experience is listening and would like to tell us about it, it's called conning. You are being conned out of the money, and that's a shame. So I know that many of you are nervous. Many of you are afraid this is, you're going to spend all this money and it's, not worth it, and so on. So please try to find someone who, first of all, has morals, who has moral, ordinary, everyday, regular morals, that they're not going to con you out of money. If they charge you, let's say, $20 or $500 or whatever it is, that's it. You don't pay more for them to give you more, unless you would like to book another consultation. And the only way that you would think to arrange or to book another appointment is if the first one was worth it. So please, everybody, please, please, please be careful. This poor woman, who actually was lovely, by the way, she was great personality, multiple sclerosis. She was in bed, so must have been fairly severe, blind. Her mother is sick, and there are people out there, literally people who have supposedly fabulous reputations, who are ripping them off. And it's hard for me to deal with something like that, because one of the things that I cannot stand in this life is injustice. Meanness and injustice are the two things that really, really I find a very hard time with. So If you hear of anything like that, please report it. If you know of anyone who's gone through that, please report it, because it's conning. But if you want to book a consultation, so find somebody who's good, find someone who's reputable, find someone who is recommended to you, and then when you book that consultation, what you're actually doing is you're saying to all your friends and family in the spirit world, okay, here I am. I'm hoping you're going to come through. There are no guarantees, of course, but I'm hoping you're going to come through. And if they don't come through for me, or if I don't give you a good consultation, I will be the one to say to you, this is not working. So I'm going to give you money back. The majority of people don't want to give me to give them the money back. They want to try again and again and again. Usually it's only one more try. Occasionally it's a little more, but anyway, I'm stopping now because I feel as if I'm on a roll, and it's Christmas, and so let's look at the positive. Chris, who else have we got here?
Lorraine's asking, do our family and friends have special celebrations for the birth of Jesus? Does he appear to all and join all?
Think about the world. Think about Christianity. Christianity is a relatively, we look at the age of the world as it is, Christianity is a relatively very, very new religion. I hate the word religion because the word religion means different things to different people. But if you are a Christian, I like to think of myself as such, only because I believe in a man by the name of Jesus Christ. I believe that he was an amazing healer. I believe that he, as we all are, as sons and daughters of God, but he was such a special, I mean, look how many years he's been. I mean, he's a legend. And so he was obviously an extremely special person. And, I don't just see him at Christmas. I see him here, there, and everywhere. And when I'm giving healing, I'll often ask him, are you there? You're around? You're going to help me? If you build a relationship, whether it's with Muhammad, whether it's with Buddha, whether it's with Jesus Christ, or whatever it is that your religion is, if you build a relationship, then I'm sure that relationship will continue beyond our life here on this earth.
All right.
Okay.
This is from Maggie, has a question. Will my daughter and parents make my semi-believers know for sure they are with them for sure?
Maggie, stop worrying about the semi-believers. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, I know where you're going with this. Excuse me, when we have such faith and such belief ourselves, we want everyone to share that. We want everyone to share the same beliefs and have the same experiences. But stop it. If it comes to them, it comes to them. You can't force it. I know you wish it. I know you want it. But let other people have their own beliefs, their own belief systems, or not. Let them come to these things in their own time and in their own way.
Melissa's asking, what do you do once you have your spiritual awakening? In my case, I feel like I've been experiencing it for years, but I'm not exactly sure what to do with the feeling.
Oh, but wait, give it time. If you're meant to do anything with it, I mean, doesn't it just make you feel great? I mean, isn't that enough? If you want to do more with it, then be patient and wait. Put yourself in the right place with people who have the same beliefs as you and have had the same awakenings as you, and just put yourself in that good place, and things will happen in their own time.
Kay says, my magical times are always with my daughters and grandsons. Today, I met with my daughter for Christmas tea and pastry. Such a treat. A short break in the day. treasures.
Well, I'm disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. I thought your magical times were with me as well. You left me out. You left me out of that. Just wait till I speak to you. I'm going to give you a really hard time about it. And I know that I'm going to say that many of my magical times have been with you, just saying. But yes, I get what you're saying. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's Christmas. I'm giving you a hard time. When did I ever not give you a hard time, Kate?
Carolyn says, my dog Elton was given away when my ex left me. Does he forgive us and know that I loved him 40 plus years ago? I would love a message from him. Thanks and Merry Christmas.
Oh, don't you hate when you hear stories like that? That happened to me. My ex-husband gave away my two beautiful Alsatians. I adored them, worshipped them, and one day we were moving, and I came home and the dogs were gone, and he wouldn't tell me where he'd taken them, but he said, we're not taking them with us. And it turned out that he gave them to a farm or to a farmer or something. But I know that no matter what, they didn't take care of my puppies the way I took care of my puppies. But it's a very callous thing for someone to do, especially when when there's someone who already loves the puppy and can take care of the puppy and so on. But anyway, no messages today, but my heart is with you because I know how it feels. Okay, Chris, is there anything else?
Last one from Eric, who's just popped on.
Okay.
He says he's going to spend his first Christmas in the new home. Thank you, Rosemary.
Oh, we want photos. We want to see it. We want to know what it is. Isn't this exciting, Eric? I think it's, oh gosh. That's so exciting. I'm thrilled for you. I really am. For all of you out there, whether you're spending Christmas on your own, whether you're spending Christmas with your family or friends, or however you are spending Christmas, remember that you are never alone. Your loved ones are always with you. Please, everybody, have a very, very blessed Christmas and have a wonderful new year. Don't drink too much. Have a wonderful new year. Enjoy the holidays as best you can. For those of you who are on your own and wondering, or miserable or upset that you're on your own, remember there are lots of children's homes. There are lots of hospitals who would love volunteers over Christmas because there are a lot of people who are sick. There's a lot of people who are very sick who don't have the visitors, or the visitors can't make it on particular days. So there's always something you can do. Or if you know of a neighbor who's by themselves, go and, go knock on the door and take some cookies and say, I thought you might like to share these with me today. So if you see someone on your own, or you know someone's on their own, of course, we're never alone, because I just said that to you. We're never alone. There's always someone in the spirit world who is with us, connected to us. But if you do see someone, or if you do think about going to the nearest hospital or children's home or wherever and saying, I'm on my own for Christmas, or even, kennels always are looking for people on Christmas to volunteer, that sort of thing. So there's, there's always something you can do if you're able-bodied enough to do it. There's always something that you can do. And a message from Grey Eagle too for all of you out there. He's thanking you all for joining us, for your support through this year, which has been difficult for so many people. He is reminding us that our angels are everywhere. They are with us. They are taking care of us. So give a shout out to your angels, can you, from time to time, and know that they are taking care of us. So thank you to Grey Eagle. Thank you, Chris, for this year and all the rest of it, because we won't do this again until the new year. And thank you, all of you, once again for your wonderful support, all of your Merry Christmases and all of your well wishes. I do appreciate so much. Please, everyone, have a very, very blessed Christmas. Have a very blessed rest of the year. And I'll see you next time.